Now we're doing FreeCodeCamp Legacy Python for everybody. Web services, API rate limiting and security exercise GeoJSON. All right. So for this one, this is a little bit outdated. I mean, I don't know, between when this was made, when this right here was made, it was uploaded 4 years ago, but when we look at him actually doing it and we see, come on, man, we don't need to say that. And we actually see the timestamps on the stuff he's doing in real time. It says 2016 on them. So this is some old stuff. You know what I'm saying? No big deal though. We're just going to roll with it. So let's push play after we make this bigger and go. But the thing is, we're going to have to do something with this code. So yeah, let's push play.
Hello and welcome to Python for Everybody. We are doing some code samples here. If you want to follow along, you can download the sample code. All is in a big zip file.
Actually, what we're going to do is we're going to put, we've already written this down, so we're going to transcribe it over here. All right. Before we get to that, let's see what he named it. Let's keep going.
I've got it. We are going to be working with the Google Maps API.
Give it a second.
In the old days, this Maps API was free and did 2,500 requests per day. But now they've made it so that parts of it are behind API keys, and you start having using OAuth and stuff. But they haven't put it all behind this one address service that we've been using. That continues to work.
No, actually, it doesn't. They've put all this behind API keys, and it is what it is. But I'll show you what we're going to do about it in just a little bit. All right, so let's keep going.
And the basically idea of an API is you go read the documentation, you find a URL, and this is going to Google servers, and you pass in the address. And we have to pass in the address using what's called URL encoding. So spaces are pluses, that's a comma, and then that's a space. And
yeah, so you can see it says Ann Arbor, Michigan. All right. In that code we wrote the other day, let me get out the notes. In this code we wrote a couple days ago, I think it was like Friday, whatever. In the last video, this right here is what he's talking about. What was he talking about? Oh, whatever. Let's go.
So we have to pass this in a certain way, but if we do it right.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah. You see how it says Ann Arbor, Michigan? Well, this code right here that we already have, you see it's got this input right here. Where is it? We've got this input interlocation. So when we do that, when we put like interlocation Ann Arbor, Michigan, it would have given us all this, but there's an API key kind of thing that we got to deal with. So, but we're going to get into that while we're doing this stuff, so we can actually know what to do. So let's go.
You hit this, we're going to get ourselves some JSON back, and that's really cool. And so deep inside
that'd
here,
be cool. We're never going to get that.
We're not a good address. We get a geometry.
Nope.
We have the location.
We can just skip all that, honestly, because we don't get any of that.
If you want to jump ahead and take a look at that. But for now, we're just going to take a look at GeoJSON, which is going to retrieve one page and tear it apart. So let's
exactly. All right, so let's go and let's put this stuff in our text editor. All right, so we've got this. We're going to name this. What did it say it was named? GeoJSON.py. Right, so we're going to come over here and we're going to say new. We're going to go to Internet Algorithm folder. We're going to say plus, and then we'll say what was it that we were just GeoJSON, GeoJSON.py. All right, enter. Boom. So now we've got this new thing, and we've already got all this right here, but it's difficult to take this and put it into this because of all these tabs, right? So we're gonna have to do it the hard way. So first thing, well, the more difficult way, whatever. do that first. And let's make it like this so we can deal with it. So we can, all right, let's do it just like that. All right, so we've got this as the first line, and then we've got import JSON after that. So import JSON, okay? And then we've got while true, capital true. We're going to say address. What? Oh, I didn't even say that service thing. So let's go down. Let's bring this one down. Let's say on 4, service URL, service. We can just take this. Come on now. If it's like this, we can just take it. Copy it, paste it. While true. All right. So now we're down here. While true, address this stuff. Copy, paste, and then on the next line, copy, paste. Yeah, this is what we're doing. I wish it could be better, but it is what it is. It's not that bad. You take this, copy, and paste it. Come down here, copy, paste. All right. Oops. Come over here, paste. Copy this, paste it. Over here. We're going to change this one up to URL handle. URL underscore handle. Because that's what this is. This is actually just a handle right here. All right. And then we've got this next line with the data. It'd be cool if I could type faster than I could cut and paste, but whatever I can with this try. All right. Boom, and then we've got a try. And then we'll say JS equals JSON dot load S. All right, and we're going to load data. All right, so this data that we're going to load here is this data that equals URL handle. Let's change this. Data equals URL handle dot read dot decode. Okay, and then we're going to do right here accept. We'll go over this. Actually, he's going to go over this in detail. I'll just fill in some blanks. JS equals none right here. And then we're going to have it outside of this try and accept. We're going to do this if statement right here. And so let's just copy and paste this because this one's long and confusing. We'll go over it though. Boom. On the next line, we're going to have print this stuff. Boom. And then we're going to do print data. Print data. All right, a little bit easier. Continue. And then this hard stuff. I'm going to have lat equals this stuff. Then we're going to have longitude equals this stuff. All right. And then what else we got? Print this stuff. So we'll come over here and print all this. That's a lot of punctuation. I'd rather cut and paste. Location, same here. Cut and paste. And then print location. We can do that. Print location. Easy. All right. So when we go through this, we can see that we're going to have this, we're going to be importing these libraries like we did before, which I don't even think we need. No, we need parse on this one because we're going to parse down here, right here, urllib.parse. But I don't think we need, no, we need requests too. We got URL requests. We don't need the error because there is no error. But whatever. Anyway, so we've got service URL equals this thing right here, which was on the video, the first part of that URL that got to the information right up to this question mark. Okay. So let's go look at the video and see what we're talking about. Anyway, here's the code, but we'll go.
Let's take a look. So we're going to grab the URLlib stuff and import JSON. So now we're going to use JSON, right, but we're going to actually pull the data out of the internet. And yes, so I just take that service URL for Google Maps API. I found that somewhere in the documentation. And then I'm going to have a loop that's going to run forever. I'm going to add the location. And then if I hit enter, that's what this is saying.
Okay, yeah. What this is doing right here, is it's saying address equals whatever input we got. Okay, and that's it, right? And then under that, if the length of the address, if the length of this right here, whatever we put in is less than 1, so i.e. if it's enter, if we press enter, it's going to break out of it. That's what this is saying right here. We've got URL equals, he's going to go over this
and get out of the loop. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to concatenate the service URL, which is this, and this URL parse URL encode gives a dictionary of address equals, and this bit right here gives me the string that leads to putting this address equals, but then coding these spaces the right way. So if you
exactly. All right, so we can actually see this in action. So let's come over to our code that we just did. And let's run this thing. So let's save it, Control S, and then let's press let's come up here, let's say right click this tab. We'll come over here to reveal in File Explorer. We'll come over here. We'll go to CMD, enter, and we'll say what, tab. So 2 tabs. We'll have this GeoJSON.py. We'll go to the beginning with home. We'll say Python space and we'll run it. All right, and you can see it says interlocation. So we'll put something like Newark, New Jersey, NJ. How about that? Let's press enter, and you can see it does this. All right, and so what this is, according to our code, let's see. Let me drop this down. All right, so we can see right here it says interlocation Newark, interlocation, right? So it says interlocation right here, while true. Okay, we say Newark, New Jersey. All right, so if the length of the address is less than 1, we're going to break out. So you see right here, it's interlocation because it's still in this while loop. So now if we press enter right here, like this, it's going to get us out of that program. So that's what this break is, right? So then we've got URL equals service URL plus this junk, okay? And then it's going to print retrieving URL. So that's what this is right here. We've got that retrieving line right here. It's printing retrieving, and then Google Maps, blah, blah, blah. So this part right here is this part right here, okay? Come on now. So these two things are the same thing, right? So this is this telling it to print this, okay? And then we've got this part right here, address equals Newark %2C plus NJ, okay? And that's what's going on here. When we do lib, URL lib.parse.url encode, it's going to do an URL encode on the address. This address right here is this address right here. We could probably make it say anything we want. Let's make it say tomato paste. How about that? Tomato paste. We're going to do it in camel case because we're so edgy. All right, let's say Control S. Let's come back over here. Let's run it yet again. Newark, New Jersey. We can just press up. Boom. There it is. And what the H? Meth. Well, this looks like it's on meth. What's going on here? All right, so you cannot put tomato paste. Yeah. What? Oh, yeah, because it's gonna send it to that. Okay, yeah, there's no such tomato paste. It would be address. Okay, I see. So yeah, this is what would happen. So that's what this is, right? Where are we? Interlocation, Newark, New Jersey. And then retrieving this tomato paste right here. You see that? So that's nothing. That's not going to send us anywhere but to this terrible thing right here. Okay, cool. I'm glad we went over that. Let's call that address. How about that? How about we do a Control Z? Boom. Control S. Let's come over here and let's run it again. Where are we? Boom. interlocation, Newark, New Jersey. Okay, that looks like a little bit better. This is exactly what we're doing. All right, so that was great, fun. Now we're back in it. Oops, I'm gonna clear the screen. CLS. CLS. Boom. All right, cool. Now let's do it again. Run it. All right, now let's say Newark, New Jersey, and there we go. All right. So what else do we got going on? We got retrieved this many characters, okay? So it's saying right here, retrieved len data characters, okay? So the data is the URL handle .read.decode, right? So the data actually prints out down here when we have a failure. So this is what the this is the data they're actually sending us. You see this? This is what they're sending back. This stuff right here is from Google Maps. And it says error message. You must use an API key to authenticate each request to Google Maps platform's APIs. For additional information, please refer to http://g.co.dev/maps-no-account. Okay, so yeah, there's the error message. We also got a result is nothing inside of a set of brackets. And then we've also got status equals request denied. Boom. Denied. Not going to do it today. Not today, champ. So yeah, not happening. Whatever, no big deal. It would be cool if it could, but it won't. We can try anywhere we want. We can say Ann Arbor, Michigan. And it gives us the same 236 characters. Error message, blah, 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 request denied. So yeah, that's what this does. Anyway, so yeah, that's what's going on here. And what we have to do to fix this, because look, Chuck is Chuck, but he doesn't have, back in 2016, he doesn't have access to 2024 problems, right? He can't. So what we're going to do here is this. What are we going to do? Is this, we're only at 17 minutes. We don't need a roadblock here. We didn't go through this whole thing though. Let's go back over here. So you see right here, this other stuff. So we've got print retrieved len data characters, right? So that's what this is right here. Retrieved. This is len, the length of data right there. And this is characters right here. So this is the characters, right? We've got retrieved, and this is retrieved. And then we've got 236, which is len data. That's what's printing out right there. And then we've got try. JS equals JSON.loads data. Okay. And we have an accept. Accept equals none. All right. So this actually does work. Okay. But the thing is, we don't have an API key, as it says right here. That being said, we've got this if not right here. So if not JS. So if this is this right here, which it's not, it does do something, but it doesn't do what we want. If that's the case, we're going to print this. Also, pardon me. If we do this, what is it? What is this? Okay. If we do this and then, what the? Okay, never mind. Okay, keep going. Okay, so also if we say, or status is not in JS, so if this thing isn't in it, all right, but it is because we do see a request denied, so it is in there, all right, or JS at status is not okay, and we can see this is not okay. So then it just goes and says continue. after printing this out. And so it prints the data. Okay, so it does failure to retrieve right here. It says if not, which it's not, it does failure to retrieve, and then it prints the data right there, and then it continues and says do it again. All right, and it'll fail every single time because this is 2016 code, and now we got to do 2024 code. So there's no point in watching the rest of the video to see all this stuff because we don't have an API key. But we will watch the rest of the video to see what would happen if we did have an API key. That's what I'm saying. But first, let's find out how to get an API key. So to do that, as we can see right here, we have to go to this website. All right. So let's copy that and let's go over to it right here. Let's get out of this. X, I guess that works. And then let's go to that website. Boom. Make the world your platform. Get started. Okay, and so to get an API key, you have to go through all kinds of stuff, which I don't even want to pretend. You know what I'm saying? Get $200 monthly usage for no charge. So this is the thing. We would have to do this, and we would have to go into get pricing details. This no charge. We're here to help. Blah blah blah. And this is how you get it. But I don't want to go through this. But it is cool. This is a nice site, though. This is a really nice site. I am. Once we have to do this, I am going to come over here. Actually, this is a really nice site. I like this 0 monthly cost. Oh, this ain't that too bad anyway. What if it's 500,000 context? Ooh, wow. Anyway, whatever. That's bananas right there. How much is $200 worth? 25,000. That's a lot. So all this equals what? All this equals $200. Anyway, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. We're going to have to go through this later. We're going to go through the rest of this video to see what would happen if we went through this rigmarole, which looks actually pretty interesting. But we're going to come over here and do this. All right, so boom.
Type of space that gives me the string that leads to putting this address equals,
yes,
but then coding these spaces the right way. So if you type a space, that bit of code turns it into the plus. So that's important.
Yes.
And I've got the question mark sitting here at the end of that. Then what we're going to do is we're just going to do a URL open to get a handle.
Yeah, that's getting the handle.
The whole document, and because it's UTF-8 coming from the outside world, and we want it turned into Unicode inside our application.
So we're turning it to Unicode using this from UTF-8, right? Of course. Let's go.
.decode. We can ask how many characters we got, and we put our JSON load S. Now, up till now, we've been just doing load S's from internal strings, but this is now a string that came from the outside world.
Yeah.
And we'll put a try except in, and we'll set JS to be none, and that'll be our little trigger. Now, we can look for, they give us, if we take a look at the output, they give us this OK, and that status can be a problem.
And remember, we didn't get that OK. What we got was, hold on. How do I do this the cool way? Every single time. Whatever. What we got was status request denied. So back in 2016, you could just do whatever you wanted and they give you an okay, right? But these days, we live in internet prison that you have to say, hey, boss, can I get an API key? And they say, go through this rigmarole. But yeah, I mean, who knows? They got to eat too. That's the thing. Google, those guys, they got to eat. So I say, okay. But yeah, still, there it is. Let's go.
Complain about things. So we have to check to see if we got a good status. So at this point, if you look at the outer bit of this, the outer bit that we get is a curly brace, so it's a dictionary. Then there is within that dictionary a key results, which is a list. But then the second thing in the outer dictionary is status. And so we can ask if...
But we're not getting any of that.
If we got a false, if we got nothing, that we'll quit. If we don't have a status key in that the object or that dictionary, or it's not equal to OK, any number of those things, if this or this or this are all, either of those are true, we're going to quit. Failure to retrieve.
Yes. And that's why we get this. All right. Let me go through it again. I mean, why not? And that's why we got this failure to retrieve when we tried to retrieve it. And we got this error message. This is actually printing the data. This is the data that we got back. That's what you see, the URL handle .read .decode, right? And there we go. That's it. So this is what we get back. And the results would have been that stuff that we saw that was in that JSON. Let's go.
Print the data out. And when you're starting to read stuff off the net, you often have to put debugging in here like this. Like, something quit. I got to figure out.
Yes.
And so debugging it.
Yes.
Next thing we're going to do is call JSON dump.
And I got to say that this thing worked perfect. Honestly, this thing worked great. I love this. This thing worked great. It tells us exactly what to do. Go to this website. We went to that website. It looks like it's pretty user friendly. Pardon me. And boom, if we ever need an API key, we know where to go. All right, let's go.
The opposite of lotus, which takes this array that include
we can't do any of this crap.
We're going to pretty print it with an indent of 4, and then we're going to print that out. And so if you look at my code, we'll see that the first thing we do once we parsed it is we print it back out so we can see it. And
hold on a second. All right, what's JSON? JS. What's JS? JSON.loads. Load S data. Okay, so this JS is this JS. Okay, let's go.
And then we're going to dig into it. So let's go ahead and run this code. Python GeoJSON.py.
What happened?
One of these days, I will always type Python 3.
In 2024, we don't have to do that.
Comma Michigan. Okay, so it ran. And so you see that it retrieved this URL. This URL was constructed.
And that's what we did.
1736 characters.
Not us.
And it's JSON
but it does give us results. And like we saw on ours, our results is nothing because request denied. But this is what would happen if we had an API key.
With an indent of 4, and this is that JSON dump S all the way down to here.
Yep, so that's what we would have got.
And then it starts extracting. So it's going to pull things out. Now, when you write this code, it's really easy to look at this and say, oh, great, it's easy. I tend to have to print this stuff out over and over and over as I kind of construct this expression. But if we look at it, the outer dictionary.
Yeah, that's what the JS is, Like, let's look at ours. And then let's look at our code. All right. That's what would be in this results would be this JS at results. So this thing right here would be the JS. If we had data, that's what the JSON.loads.data would be where this would be this whole thing right here. Okay. And then at results, and then result would only give us 1. That's why we would have this thing. It would only give us 1 result. So we would only say at 0, okay, because that was the result. And it was also inside. Let's go back over here. As you can see, the result is inside of a list or an array, whichever one you want to call it. I don't know if that's JavaScript or not. But since it's an array or a list, we have to access it with 0, right? And then if we had it, we'd go to geometry. If we had it, we'd go to location. And then if we had it, we would go to lat. Right? That's what this would be. And this one would right here would be the latitude, right? This would be the latitude, and this would be the longitude of whatever city we put in to the input, right? But we can't do that because we don't have an API key. No big deal. No big deal. Let's go back to the video and relax.
Leads to this array.
Yes.
And if you go look at this array carefully, you find there is only one thing in it. And so that the results is an array.
Yes.
Sub-0 gets us this dictionary.
Yeah,
I keep
that's
wanting to
the
say
one-
object because that's what it's called. And that goes all the way down to here.
All of
So
that,
that's what we get there.
all that right there, all that stuff is just the one element in that array. So let's go.
And then within that, we now have an object, and we look for
Yes. So it's the one element in that array is that object, and it's got geometry, location, and lat in it. We'll see him do it too. Watch.
geometry within that object. Where is geometry? Right there.
Boom.
Geometry.
Okay.
Geometry goes from there to there. There's geometry in there.
Sure.
You got to get used to it. That's why it's nice to have this stuff indented.
It's a pain in the
Geometry,
butt, I would say.
Load. Oops, come back. Come back. And then we go to location within that. So
yes.
Location within geometry.
So that's what that is.
And then within location, we have lat and long. And so
yep. So we got latitude and longitude right here. So these are all the same. And this is what's different because we've got a latitude and longitude inside of location.
Is
like we saw right here, latitude, longitude, boom. So now we know where Ann Arbor, Michigan is. Woo!
Now is 42 and 83.
Yep.
And then, so we print that out.
So yeah, so we're going to print out latitude and then the actual latitude, this lat, because that's what this one is. Latitude, latitude, and we're going to also print out longitude, LNG, and longitude also. So let's see what he does.
Take a look, and that prints that out.
Yep. So there's lat, there's long, and then it also prints out, we've got this code. We don't need to wait for him to move his notes. And then it also does location equals this stuff right here, JS. So it's all that thing that we had right here, or all that thing that he has right where? Right here. It's this whole thing. That's all JS, right? And then on ours, let me pull it back up. At results at 0. Okay, so we had results at 0, and instead of going to geometry, we go to formatted address. And that's what the location is going to be. It's going to print out. Come on. It's going to print out Ann Arbor, Michigan, because that's what it looks like when you go to wherever it is on here. We'd have to see it.
Now, pulls that right out of the JSON. These are tricky to write, but after a while you win and you get it right, and it's just fine.
You can just,
okay.
We can just, if we ever need this again, we can just come and get it. You know, we don't have to write it twice. That's like the key thing about being a cool programmer is knowing where the things are that you already done and going and snatching them up and then using them again. All right, let's go.
And so we do the same thing. Result sub 0 formatted address gets us this. And
so it gives us
that's
that
how we print
Ann Arbor, Michigan right there.
And so that's a real quick look at how we would do that with the JSON talking to the Google Maps API.
Yep. If we had an API key, which we don't. So basically what the solution was, go to this website. Where were we? Was go to this website right here and follow the directions and then come back to it. And if anything goes wrong in this thing, if you get stuck on this, you just go to ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT, hey, what's the problem? And then it'll tell you. Because these guys, Google wants us on the internet. They want us to have successful websites so that they can get money, so they can eat food, right? Same with us. That's why we're in it, right? So we can pay our bills. Anyway, so that should be the end of the video, but let's listen to him close it out.
This helps.
Oh, it did. Anyway, so that was the end of the video. All right, so that was a good one. Let me look. 38 minutes, 34 minutes. That's not the longest video I've ever made, so it's pretty good. So yeah, there we go. And that's how we would do it. And hopefully at some point we will go through getting an API key, but I don't think it's going to be anytime soon. Because next we're doing JSON and then Twitter and then XML. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, pardon me. So now we're on to exercise JSON. And we'll see you next time.